Hey everybody, Bill here with an up-to-the-minute trade recommendation. I want to talk to you guys about yesterday's expectations and what's actually happening in the market. Let me go over here to GDAX. And so what we saw was it surpassed the $9,000 mark. You saw that it went up to 91.65. It took a really tiny bounce downward to 8,900 bucks. I was telling people that the bounce probably won't be huge, a couple $100. Very likely not going to be $400 or $500. Definitely not a 10% bounce because Bitcoin's not been doing that recently. If you watch yesterday's news, the only way to really get your 10 and 20% bounces nowadays is to go ahead and start trading some altcoins against Bitcoin. And so that's still my recommendation right now. Here's what's probably going to happen. Now, what we expected was it was going to hit the $9,000 mark, and it's kind of a psychological thing for the industry that it hits the $9,000 mark. People take and hedge their bets, and they go ahead and sell off, and they hope for a couple $100 per coin win. And so that's what they did. They went ahead and took their wins, and then they went and bought back in. Now, here's what's going on in the industry. The reason that it's continuing to climb is Monday, some of the big traders are actually going to start taking futures against Bitcoin in their portfolios. And so a lot of people are jumping in. We've actually gained 100,000 users on Coinbase in the Americas in the last couple of days. And so all these users are now trying to acquire Bitcoin, thinking that that's what's going to happen, that we're going to continue to grow because of the acceptance that's happening now on the traditional stock market and exchanges. So it's going to continue to grow. If you went ahead and took my advice yesterday and sold around the $9,000 mark, and you didn't, you went ahead and sold your coins at 9,000 and you didn't buy it back, and you're waiting for a bounce, it's very likely not going to go back down, almost guaranteed. Now, as you can see in this trade wall, you can see that there's actually a wall right here around $9,500. A bunch of people are holding off until the 9,500 mark. That's the new psychological sell-off point. So at 9,500 bucks, it's going to bounce back down. So you have a couple different options. If you're still holding on to it, you sold it, so let's say $89,000 or $9,000, and you're now potentially losing this extra $400 in the amount of trade. What's very likely going to happen is we're going to continue to climb without any significant bounces, like we can have a small one here at $9,500. We're not going to have any significant bounces. So you have two different options. Go ahead and forget about the just take your loss. Go ahead and buy it back now when it bounces back down just a little bit. Go ahead and take your hit at $400. Go ahead and buy your coins back and wait for it to get up to $10,000 and then sell again at that point. That's going to be your next major bounce, right around the $10,000 or $11,000 mark. So go ahead and do that, or do what I've done is I've actually went in, because you're actually getting a bargain right now with Ethereum. So I went ahead and took the money that I sold, and I sold a little earlier than I recommended for you guys. I sold somewhere around 88 or 89. And so I've already got a $500 loss per coin. If you think of it that way, it's really not, it's not a true loss because it's in dollars. So what I've done is I've taken the money and I bought here at $450 for Ethereum. So for me to gain that 10% back, which I've only lost 3 or 4%, I can gain 10% back as soon as this hits the $500 mark. As soon as Bitcoin settles down in the next couple of days, maybe in a week, that money that I've spent, I'd say $20,000 to $40,000 that I've spent in here, will actually end up becoming an extra 10% gain. So the 10% or 5% that I could have lost by not holding on to Bitcoin, I'll regain it back by doing Ethereum. So take either one of those two recommendations. If you're holding cash, it's a good idea. Go ahead and buy your Bitcoin back and wait for it to hit the $10,000 mark, or go ahead and buy the bargain right now. The bargain right now is Ethereum. Go ahead and buy Ethereum. If you have another trade network like this one, you could also go ahead and buy Bitcoin Cash, because there's also very, very likely that both of those coins are going to hit another 10% gain in the next 5 to 7 days. So go ahead and get that. It's not a loss in either scenario. Go ahead and buy your coins back. I wouldn't hold on to cash right now, because you're either going to lose the potential gain that you could have in Bitcoin, because it is definitely going to continue to climb up to 10,000 plus. So you're going to lose that potential gain, or go ahead and buy Ethereum and get your gains there, because all of them are bargains right now. All right, there's my update for today. See you tomorrow.